So our lesson number 8 is don't make anticipated expenses into false emergencies, and I told you before that we would talk about this. And so just like we blurred the lines between wants, wishes, luxuries, and conveniences and true needs, we in this country, because we don't plan ahead financially, think all kinds of things that are just anticipated expenses are emergencies. And once again, because they're an emergency, well, what was I supposed to do? I had to choice. It was an emergency, so yeah, I can go into debt for it. You give yourself permission, just like you do for false needs. And so let me give you a few stories to put it in perspective. A number of years ago, my wife and I were driving to New York City to see some shows, and we were on Route 80 in New Jersey going into Manhattan. And there's the metal bumper of a tractor trailer truck in the middle of the road. Everybody's swerving, I'm swerving, can't swerve fast enough, blow out my left rear tire. Pull over to the shoulder, there's a whole bunch of other people that had the same experience. Now, is that an emergency? Absolutely yes. Who could have seen that one coming? But fortunately, I have an emergency savings account, so I had no problem buying a new tire when I got into New York City. In my day, we had a saying, hope for the best, but plan for the worst, because bad things happen to good people every day, and you've got to plan for it. Too many Americans don't plan for anything financially. Let me give you an addition to that story. So now you've got 40,000 miles on your tire, and your car has to get inspected next month. Do you think it's going to pass? No. Those tires are not going to pass. Is that an emergency? Absolutely not. You could have seen that coming at 20,000 miles and started saving for it. I actually had a teacher that I teach for who told her story to the students when I brought this up. She said, yep, that happened to me. I took my car in for an inspection, wasn't paying attention, didn't get my head in the game. Tires didn't pass. I had to buy 4 new tires. I had to put it on a credit card because I hadn't thought about it. Don't let that happen to you. One more story from the bankruptcy court. I had a woman one year who had thousands of dollars on her credit card to have her roof replaced. Now I said, why would you have thousands of dollars to have your roof replaced, not repaired? Hoping that she was going to say something like, come on, Judge, you don't remember that windstorm we had last year? Blew a big tree on my roof. I thought it was covered by insurance. Boy, was I shocked when it wasn't. That's not what she said. She calmly looked me in the eye and said, well, it was 30 years old. I needed to replace it. I said, you have a 30-year-old roof in Western New York where we get 190 inches of snow a year, and you don't have the money to replace it? They only warrant them for 20 or 25 years, depending on the shingles. You've got to look ahead to your financial future all the time and make sure you're providing for those things like vacations, weddings. How about this? I don't have dental insurance. I choose not to. Cost, benefit, risk, reward, whatever, but I have plenty of savings for it because I know that I'm going to do stupid things at my age, like crack a tooth eating some nuts, which I did a couple years ago. But for me, that's not an emergency. It's an anticipated expense that I have savings for. So you need to save for those anticipated expenses. Let me just give you one more example that totally blows my mind. Now, the last time I checked, the holidays, including Christmas, came the same time every year. Christmas comes, you know you're going to spend money on presents, possibly entertainment, possibly visiting family or friends. So you should have that money put away. And yet, in November of 2019, 34 million Americans were still paying off their credit card debt from Christmas of 2018. You've got to look into your financial future and have savings for anticipated expenses.